Would you like to learn the next 100 to 1000x crypto launchpads with the potential to turn $1,000 into 100,000, if not $1 million? I am going to be ranking the following launchpads for their multiplier potential. The reason being is because I have been in cryptocurrency for 7 years, and in my personal opinion, based on how the market is looking pre-halving, that this is going to be one of the most violent bull runs in history of the cryptocurrency market. And one of the ways of optimizing your gains potential is by getting into pre-sales, because in a lot of occasions you are getting in at the rock bottom price. And so launchpads offer that optimized ability to make massive gains. Because if you're just getting into Bitcoin or Ethereum or one of the top 100 cryptocurrencies, you're not getting in at a rock bottom price. You're not going to be making life-changing gains. But with launchpads, you have the potential to get into cryptocurrency projects across many chains, across many niches early, and use that ability to make life-changing wealth. So I'm just going to get right into the action. As usual, nothing I say is to be construed as financial advice. Crypto is largely unregulated and high risk, and people who invest should be prepared to lose all their money, and everything I say to you in this video is for informational and educational purposes only. As usual, my name's Suppoman, your superhero of 100 to 1000x gems. I have found many cryptocurrency gems before they were famous, such as Quant, Cardano, Solana, Hex, Star Atlas, Polygon, Binance, and a bunch of launchpads. In the last bull market, I was the launchpad king. I was the one that jumped onto that train way before anybody else, and as a result, I was able to make one of the most astronomical gains out of any crypto YouTuber, one of them being a 1260x. So, if you love content like this, if you want to learn from the man that has been in cryptocurrency for 7 years, all I would literally ask you to do is just smash a like on this video. It's so super simple, but it helps me a lot. So just smash that like, watch it animate in front of you, and just be reassured that that is going to help me a lot. And also, if you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to the Suppoman for the best alpha in the crypto space. Because if you watched my videos early, you would have made top bank on gaming projects before all the other YouTubers started jumping on them. So, Mexico. Let me just make sure that everything is working properly, etc. It sounds like you can hear me fine. This is live, so hence the quality checking. So let me just post this over to the good people of X, as it's now called. And writing a tweet is an art form, so don't judge me. And there we are, done and done, just like that, I think. Let me just make sure that actually did go out. Yes, it did. So if you, don't worry, don't come off here to go on Twitter and like it. You don't have to do that. Right, okay, so we're in a cryptocurrency market presently, which is showing quite unprecedented, relatively unprecedented volume and interest. We are seeing Bitcoin having a year ago been at $15,500, now at $44,000. And a lot of this is due to ETF speculation. Most of the market are under the belief that we are going to be granted, well, we, the collective we, those of you and us in cryptocurrency, the crypto family, a lot of people are very, very positive, optimistic about there being an ETF granted. And because that's going to be directly affecting Bitcoin, then Bitcoin has done an incredible run-up since the last year, despite the fact that we are looking at past cycles still in a bear market. Even though the trend would suggest otherwise, even though the trend would suggest we're in a crypto summer, I actually believe that we are in some form of heat wave in winter. That's my personal opinion. But it doesn't really matter, because there's a bullish trend going on right now. And we have seen that bullish trend descend upon the gaming market. The gaming market has actually really, really performed well. Presently, it won't show you on the 7-day view how well it's done, but we have seen 30 to 40x cryptocurrencies in an official kind of bear market, because pre-halving is still a bear market, or considered one, and still 40x's. And that is relatively unprecedented, but it's showing you that there is a optimism that is really surging through. Gaming has done extremely well, and now Launchpads are starting to do extremely well. And the key reason being is because I believe that this whole pump, everything that is going up, because if we look at, Avalanche and Ethereum and things like that, they've gone up 2x or a little bit more than 2x. A lot of the mainstays, a lot of the layer ones, particularly aged layer ones, like Algorand, Hedera, they've not gone up dramatically, but narrative plays have gone up super tremendously. And narratives is something that is jumped on by degens. And degens have a high appetite for risk, high risk. And one of the highest risks that you can take is getting in at pre-sale, getting into a new cryptocurrency that's not established, not got an established history, maybe hasn't got VCs, and you're getting in at the ground up. Now, I have made my fortunes in cryptocurrency by getting into pre-sales. My biggest ever win in cryptocurrency was with a cryptocurrency called Ethos, which I put $20,000 into before it 320x'd. And that was getting in at pre-sale. That wasn't buying Bitcoin, that wasn't buying Ethereum. Right, so you've just got to go to where the money is at. And in the degen market, a lot of money is speculating on pre-sales and getting in early. We are just starting. We are just really beginning a bull trend within a bear market. That's my personal view. We're in a bull trend. And so Launchpads are starting to wake up. They're beginning to see that the pipeline is starting to just come through their door. During this bear market, there's been a lot of knocks on the door, but the Launchpads haven't opened up because it's not the right time to get people into their Launchpad. The Launchpad price goes up. It's a bear market. The price, the crypto that they launched doesn't necessarily do so well. Everybody dumps the Launchpad tokens, dumps the new crypto tokens, and it looks bad. So they haven't been opening their doors, but they are opening their doors now. And this is why months ago, I brought you a cryptocurrency video telling you about Launchpads when they were at the low. Now, I have got a lot of data to share with you before I go into rating these cryptocurrencies. So let's just get that out of the way. So what I have done is I have looked at a lot of the main launchpads that exists in cryptocurrency. These are launchpads across chains and across narratives. All right, everything. And I am looking at various bits of information regarding these launchpads. First of all, how did they perform previously? Where, based on the current price, have they got to travel to just to get to the all-time high? What were the effectiveness of their launches? Were they able to get 100x and 50x's? Because that is what we're chasing. We are not chasing launchpads that deliver terrible multipliers. But having said that, just because your launchpad, if that launchpad is in here, has not got green or yellow, so green means an average of over 10 100x's, and yellow means an average of over 5 100x's. So that is what yellow and green explain. But just because you've got something like, let's say, Aptos launch that has got really one 100x, and as a result of that, 150x, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not got the ability to do well in the next bull market. But what I can deduce from this is that there is already an appetite for launchpads, because we have a look and see the low to November, the bear market low to the November high. We can see that 16 cryptocurrencies have 3x'd 16 cryptocurrencies out of 25 have already 3x'd since the lows, and we've got 4 that have 10x'd. 4 that have 10x. One of them 16x at the absolute best. And, you know, we are still early though, because if we have a look at the all-time high multipliers, then there's still some big multipliers that can be achieved. On the bottom end of the scale, you haven't got a lot, but at the top end, you can see where the opportunity lies. What I've also done is I've done a stock check on the Launchpads that are currently out at the moment. And what I will say is that not all of them are active. So whilst Cardstarter, particularly today, has done a 2x. Yesterday it was 21 cents. Today it's gone up to 44 cents. It's done a 2x. They're not active. They haven't done a tweet since 2022. And that was early on in 2022. So they are not very active. Despite that, you know, there is still potential that in the next bull market, when a bull market is confirmed, the team may come back. They may make it live again. Because I've been looking at a lot of the Twitter profiles of these Launchpads, and what I have noticed is that a lot of them have only recently started publishing content. Beforehand, they were a ghost town. Nothing was really going on. And in the case of Cardstarter, there is no Cardano narrative, and they are purely Cardano focused. Whereas a lot of the other Launchpads here are open in terms of chains that they concentrate on. Cardano is not really a narrative popping off. There's probably not a lot of pipeline, and as a result of that, a cryptocurrency like Cardstarter might just not be active right now. And this is what increases the risk, and therefore why people speculate on the higher risk options, because it's got the greatest chance of making a big multiplier to get back to its all-time high. So, yeah, so with that in mind, there is a lot of opportunity here. All right, there's still a lot of opportunity just to get to the old all-time high. Now, what I will say is that in the last bull market, there were some early adopters of Launchpad. So the really earliest adopter that I can remember is Pokerstarter. And that explains its incredible performance of 8 100Xs and 1950Xs with a 270X best performance. They were early. They were around in 2020, just before a big altcoin season popped off the beginning of 2021. From January up until May, there was just a constant run-up of cryptocurrencies at that point. And Pokerstarter, being an early adopter, was able to get that entire period optimized by being early adopters. Whereas there are other ones that were new. So, for instance, AIPad, which is currently boasting 0 100Xs and 250Xs. This came out in December 2021. So, it was not even around for the bull market. So, in a lot of areas, although, you know, a lot of the cryptocurrencies, there are a lot of Launchpads that haven't got, you know, the green and the yellow performances. A lot of Launchpads did launch very, very late on. You had to really spot the trend, like BSCPad did. You had to really spot the trend and get in to that game whilst there was a bull market going on. So, next time round, we have got an entire bull season where Launchpads are already there. So, whilst last time, some of these were not able to capitalize on great launches, next time, a whole season, as long as they're live, a whole season. I believe the next 2 years are going to be nothing short of astronomical. And therefore, Launchpads, being around for an entire season, are going to reap rewards. Joe Bars for $99. Thank you very much. That is insane. And I'm going to give you what you deserve,
I wake up every morning,
which
I'm
is
like, oh my
the
God,
Monaco Karma.
I'm living in a dream. Really? Yes. You know.
Joe Buzz, thank you very much. I really appreciate that contribution. That is incredible. And in fact, I'm going to give you this because this is what you've quite literally done over everyone.
The people's elbow. The people's elbow.
The people's elbow. Walla, 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 bang! And he's dead. I appreciate you too, Joe. Thank you very much. And I will get to your questions. I will get to your questions. So anyway, so my personal opinion is that Launchpads have a twofold benefit. They have the benefit of getting into the Launchpad and making a multiplier on the Launchpad and making multipliers on what they launch. So there's a twofold benefit. That's a better system than any other cryptocurrency. Better than gaming. This is the best token utility in my opinion because you've just got a twofold benefit. You've got twice the gains. If you think about it, you know, the cryptocurrencies that were my best performance, all of these, pretty much all of the cryptocurrencies that I got into ball to ball in 2021 were Launchpads and Launchpad launches. And look, insane multipliers, tons, 36 plus 100 X's, 36. And so what you see is most of these Launchpad. There are 4 games, well, 2 games and 2 DeFis. Launchpad, games, Launchpad, NFTs, Launchpad. So what I got here was the ability to get into something like Meta VPad and make the incredible multipliers. And Meta VPad then allowed me to get into AIPad, which made me 66x. So, and I'm going to be able to hold AIPad through the bull market and be able to take part in any of the AI launches, which that is poised to be able to optimize on. So we've got a landscape where Launchpads are really, in my opinion, amongst the best. And you may be aware, I showed you this in a video not long ago, which is Alex Becker's wallet, and he is of the same opinion quite clearly, right? So he bought, because there's a lot of people sending him tokens, so you know it used to be the case that you would track this in order to see what has he bought, right? But a lot of the cryptocurrencies that you see here were not bought by him. They're people that have sent him cryptocurrencies thinking that, you know, there's so many eyes on this wallet that they're going to buy into the things that have been sent to him rather than things he's bought himself. But something that he has bought himself recently was Paid Network. And Paid Network has arguably been, I would say, relatively stagnant until recently. And recently, this one has blown up, you know, quite considerably, actually, a 15x. This is because it hit a bear market low of 1 cent, which was 4x lower than its IDO price. So something that you should definitely be looking at, there's not going to be many instances of this, is where a cryptocurrency is on or near their IDO price. Because that way, you are seeing that you are getting in way before, well, you're getting in at a price way better than anybody that got into Launchpads at the time. So, for instance, to give an example, Occam-Fi. Occam is a Cardano-based Launchpad, arguably one of the worst performing, in my opinion. And this one was $1.75 at IDO, and although it's gone down to 11 cents at worst, presently it's 23 cents. So it's got a 93x. This one hasn't pumped. This is one of the worst quality pumps, in fact. So here you can see, what has not actually pumped just yet. So you can see DQBait has not really pumped. It's only gone up 4%. AIPad has not really gone up. And in fact, AIPad is not far away from its IDO price. AIPad is it's a Cardano-based Launchpad from Bluezilla. And they are active. The last tweet was ages ago, but it was this year. But it was ages ago. Okay, so something to bear in mind. But because they're part of Bluezilla, I don't think Bluezilla are going to let them go, particularly if there's a Cardano narrative, which I believe there will be. So you can see what has not pumped. You know, Occam-Fi is it's not even real. It's just about 2x, just about. So you can see where the opportunities have not also been optimized at this point. Let me just put this over here. So anyway, yeah. So Alex Becker, he got into gaming. Gaming did really well. And now he's getting into Launchpads because he wants to get into gaming from pre-sale. So he's already part of Seedify. He's already part of Neotokyo. He's part of Paid. And also Sidus. He has recently, I believe, become an advisor to Sidus. And Sidus are also launching their own Launchpad. And that could be because Alex Becker probably said, you should do a Launchpad. So, yeah. So anyway, so there's quite clearly an appetite to DCA into these Launchpads. All right. So I'm going to now get going with these Launchpads. Let me just make sure there aren't any super chats. In the meantime, I see people coming on to Joe Bars in the chat. Gamma Bunta, Salabrador as a Soul Beam play? I have not heard of that. I will get to that. Because what I have noticed is that obviously Bonk has just gone from strength to strength. And, you know, Bonk was one of those that I was early on. My narrative plays, the narrative buys that I suggested at the beginning of the year, that I suggested, God, months ago now. Bear with me. Yeah, Bonk has done super well. And back when I put it in my narrative plays, it was a degen risk coin, and now it's absolutely blown up. So I can see, and also Samoyed. So Bonk. Let's have a quick look at Bonk, which is probably the worst branding for a dog. At least Shiba Inu is an actual branded dog. Doge is the meme version of a Shiba Inu. But what the fuck is Bonk? Bonk's nothing. What's Bonk? Right, but it's doing incredibly well. Samoyed is doing really, really well today as well. 74%. So let me just have a quick look at Soul Labrador. It's not even tracked on here. Not even tracked on here. This only really comes up if something has either died or it's not out yet. And from what I can see, it looks like it's died. So let's just have a look and see Salabrador on CoinGecko. Let's see if there's any. It's gone down a bit, but it's got 1.3 million in trading volume and 3.5 million in total diluted supply. Salabrador Casino. Meme coin, Solana blockchain. That's all it really needs to be honest. That's all it needs to be. But how long has this been out? Why the fuck is it not tracked on CoinGecko then if it's only been out a month? Well, maybe this is one to get into. Soul Labrador. Wouldn't say it's the best. Well, actually, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's a little bit of a very polysyllabic word. But, yeah. Anyway, right. So, yeah, there's my synopsis. Probably a good high-risk play, given it's 3 million. And Samoyed and Bonk, they're far gone at this point. So let's get started with the... let's get started with this. So, the first one we're going to look at is going to be Dell Maker. Now, I'm going to typically, as I do with my list, is I typically look at the crypto... I typically start with the highest market cap cryptocurrency in the field. And Dell Maker is one of the highest market cap launchpads. It's presently 211 million in market cap. And if we have a look at its all-time high best performance, 391 million is their absolute best. So this one is not going to be unlocking the 100x's. But this would be a launchpad that you get into for the actual releases rather than the token price of the Launchpad token going up. Because this one is, I would say, one of the better cryptocurrencies. Okay, so GameFi, which in itself is a great gaming launchpad, this was one of their best multipliers. My Neighbor Alice. What you'll notice here is a lot of their launches have been cryptocurrencies we talk about, that top YouTubers talk about. So GameFi, My Neighbor Alice, Epic Prime, D-Race, XCAD, MetaGods, a lot of others that are shit. But you see at the top that the ones that are performing are ones that are talked about even now. And I believe that these guys, I want to say that they had Shane GPT. But maybe they didn't. But Dell Maker, I would say, are one of the more current Launchpad projects. And they definitely attract good names. You know, cryptocurrencies that can hold their own post-Launchpad phase. What I would say with Bluezilla, they are unbelievably good at being able to bring out a strong multiplier cryptocurrency. But I wouldn't necessarily say that a lot of the newer cryptocurrencies that come out of there, like Magical, for instance, is going to necessarily hold its own in the market. Whereas a lot of these that you see on Dell Maker, they do. Now, I think that a lot of this is to do with the overarching influencer network that are behind Dell Maker, because they are in touch with a lot of influencers, and a lot of the, I suppose, the agents for Dell Maker are talking to influencers, and that's what gets the really, really good multipliers on Dell Maker cryptocurrencies. So I would say Dell Maker, really, you're going to be getting the multipliers on the launches rather than on the token itself. Having said that, given this has got one of the best reputations, it's got amongst the best cryptos that have done well post-launch, this one, I think, and the fact that moving into the next bull market, you're going to be probably seeing just a 2-year run on a lot of these launch pads, I would say this can at least get a 10x. That would put it around 3 billion, depending on their circulation. Their circulation appears to be just over 50%. So there's still more dilution to come. And what I understand about Dell Maker is you do need quite a few tokens. So people are going to be probably buying in excess of tokens. So this will be a 10 to 20x, I would say. Next, we're going to look at Pokerstarter. Now, as I said, Pokerstarter was one of the original launch pads. And these guys started out as a Polkadot-based launch pad. So you would get into these for new Polkadot launches, or cryptocurrencies that are going to be part of the Polkadot DeFi Alliance. Initially started out on Pokerstarter, but then they became multi-chain. They did Ethereum, they did Binance Smart Chain, Solana as well, I believe. And this has now just become a general launch pad, but it retains the name, I believe, for goodwill. They just keep the name because it's established. All right, now Pokerstarter is 63 million market cap. And they have got most of their coins out, so there's not going to be any dilution. This should have really an uninterrupted run. And you can see it's at the lower end of its price range at 64 cents. And I think a lot of this will be, I would not necessarily say Pokerstarter is very current right now. And I think that is reflected in, it's not got a huge amount of volume. It's not very current. Seedify is very current, I would say. But I wouldn't say Pokerstarter is very current. But if we have a look at Pokerstarter in the past, again, these guys have had a supreme performance for their pre-sales. Multiple 100x's. I'm pretty sure a final was better than 129x. But anyway, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You got 8 100x's, and 2 of which were a near 300x. So these guys have got a history, but I would also say that these guys were right place, right time as well. But they've got the name. So the likelihood is that their people are going to be coming to them to launch. And this is not a guaranteed allocation launch pad. So what you would be getting is you would be getting every 250 Pokerstarter tokens gives you greater weighting in the lottery. So you increase your chances of being able to actually do well, actually being able to take part in whatever launch they do. So as a result of that, I would say that Pokerstarter being 63, I would say this has also got kind of 10 to 20x. I don't think this has got 25x. I just don't think so. Because the launchpad space is a little bit more diluted than it used to be. When it went up to this valuation in February 2021, $5, when it went up there because it was the only Launchpad at that point. It had the lion's share of pipeline, it had the lion's share of the gains and the attention and the money flow. But I don't think that's going to be the same next time. So I would say 10x, 10 to 20x. So really, I would say $12. This could surpass its old all-time high because, like gaming, Launchpads are quite evergreen, and depending on the quality, this could do really well. So I would say 20x at best, based on the launches, if it can stay current. But one that I would say is definitely very current is Seedify. Seedify is a launchpad that concentrates on gaming, metaverse, and AI. So those are, well, metaverse is lukewarm, I would say, at this stage. It's not really performed well as a narrative overall, but AI and gaming have performed extremely well. And Seedify really sits at the forefront of this. I am personally not in Seedify at this point anyway. I would be waiting, the chance was, the few months ago that I spoke about this, when this was under 60 cents. Now it's $3.83. It's quite far gone. But I would say that even still, just purely on the strength of their niche. So they're not open. They're not open like Pokerstarter and Dell Maker, where, they can launch pretty much anything in any niche. This is concentrated on a very two degen niches, as AI and gaming. So as a result of that, I would say that I would say it's very similar to Sui. I would say that a Seedify could actually perform better than a 10x. And Seedify's best performance was actually a near 700x, which puts it in amongst the best ever Launchpad performances outside of Bluezilla. 698x. And you're still in profit even today on this. So, and they, again, really good quality ICOs as well. So you got, I'm not sure about Blocktopia, but certainly CryoWar, Silas Heroes, ChainGPT. Some of the ones that, I would say the bigger VCs were getting in contact with me about, like the Parallel, Earther, Good Games Guild, MetaStrike, and then we got Games for a Living. That also, if you'd have got into Games for a Living at its IDO price, which it doesn't say here. It only says the raise. It doesn't say the IDO price, but you would have got into that at the earliest opportunity. So therefore, if you're going to be getting into the next games developers, the next big AI cryptocurrencies, then I would say that this has a chance of doing a 25x plus. Probably not much more than that. Next, we have got BSCPad. BSCPad was the original Bluezilla Launchpad. And also, BSCPad is the one that pretty much hosts everything. And if you go on CryptoRank, which is where I found Seedify, Dell Maker, Pokerstarter, all their best launches, they have not got the Bluezilla Launchpads on here. So I have had to go manually into the apps and see how the launches performed. But you would be hard-pressed to find a better performer than BSCPad. BSCPad in itself was a mega multiplier. This was a 300x cryptocurrency. And me getting into BSCPad enabled me to get a TronPad, which 420x, PulsePad, 430x, AstroSwap, Valhalla, MetaVPad, Gamezone. They pretty much hosted all of these. And the next AI launch they're doing is going to be on BSCPad and AIPad. So that shows you they haven't sunsetted BSCPad, being the oldest, and there's a lot of newer launchpads that Bluezilla have launched. BSCPad is their oldest, AIPad is their newest, and that's where they're going to be holding the next sale. So quite clearly, BSCPad is going to be around a long time. Now, in terms of their all-time best, they reached a high of over $7 in the past. $7 would put it at around about 30x from here. And I would say it has got a fighting chance of getting right back up to that. So I would put BSC pad in about 25x. I wouldn't say it's got the ability to get to a 50x at this point, but I would say that it's certainly, I think it's earned its place as a really good launchpad. Then you've got DQbait. This actually came out on BSC pad, funnily enough. These guys were launched by BSC pad. And these guys also are a up-and-coming launchpad. Bear with me 1 second. So DQbait at this point are very, very... DQbait have been around since about 2021 from what I can... Well, they were obviously launched by... they were launched by BSC pad. But they've actually done some decent launches. So I know a particular YouTuber that was able to get into ChainGPT because of DQbait. It cost him hardly anything to get into DQbait, and as a result of that, he was able to make massive bank on ChainGPT. And they've launched some other good ones. So LitLab, which has partnered up with Seedify as well. DexCheck. They also came out on DQbait. So I think in the past they have had only a few launches. They have certainly not had anywhere near the amount of launches that a lot of the Boozilla and a lot of the legacy launchpads have done. But these guys have only really gotten their asses into gear this year, I would say. They've had quite a few launches this year, but their best one is ChainGPT. So DQbait at this present time being 8 million, depending on the quality they can get up to, then I could see DQbait actually making a very decent run up. I could see them being over $1, and this one could actually be a 50x. Then we've got Paid Network. Now, Paid Network was started out by Kyle Chase or Kyle Chassis. He is quite well known in the cryptocurrency space. I've seen him in Altcoin Daily's videos recently. I think he's been in a few videos. I think he knows most of the YouTubers. I believe I've spoken to Kyle as well at some point, I'm sure. But he's the guy who brought up Paid Network. Now, Paid Network, I remember, had they had some form of glitch all the way back in 2021, and that caused for the price to get shattered. I believe this may have been the glitch around about here. I covered it live, and it went from what, $5 all the way down to 20 cents, and then it surpassed its old all-time high just a month later. It didn't really kill it, but what has happened is it's kind of been killed in the meantime. But Paid Network, I used Paid Network in the last bull market to get into Star Atlas, and these guys have done some decent launches, I've got to say. They've got kind of two launch pads. They've got Ignition, and they have also got Apollo X. And Apollo X was how I got into Star Atlas. And they also did Sidus Heroes. So they did quite a few good ones. Sidus Heroes, Good Games Guild, Blockchain Monster Hunt, that was a monster hit, because I got into that one, and Star Atlas. That was in the last bull run, and that's not even looking at the Ignition platform, which is also doing launches as well. So I believe that these guys are very, very fluid, and they're going to be doing a lot of gaming-based content as well. And they're going to be truly multi-chain. So Solana, Avalanche, Arbitrum, Polygon, Polkadot, and Cardano. And I think this is a reason why Alex Becker has bought Paid over everything else. Because I think that, he spots the opportunity that they're going to be bringing out gaming cryptocurrencies. And they were very, very low in market cap anyway. So 17 million market cap. I believe a week ago, this has doubled in... Shit. This is actually 4x'd in a week. So this has already done quite a lot of a run-up as it is. So from 17 million, with only 13% out in circulation, I would say that paid network has a chance of doing maybe a 20x, I would say. 20 to 25x, I would say. So I'll put paid network in there. Neotokyo is a community that was founded by Alex Becker and Elio Trades. I'm in that community, and it's not formulaic necessarily. All right, you do have to be staking bytes. You do have to be, I believe, actually staking a certain amount, but there is no platform, as it were. There's no app like there is on the Bluezilla Launchpads. Like you just have your money. It's very, very decentralized. You almost have to volunteer with Neotokyo in order to be, kind of within the launches. Yeah, it's not as process driven, as it were, as other Launchpads. So this one I wouldn't necessarily class as being a Launchpad token as much as other cryptocurrencies. But having said that, I do believe that Neotokyo is going to do a 10 to 20x in the next bull market, just simply because of the size of the community and really because Alex Becker he talks about it a lot. So I would say a 10 to 20x for that one. Gamezone is next. Now, Gamezone is a Bluezilla-based games launchpad, in a dedicated fashion, right? Now, these guys have not had any recent launches. They are still active as a project, but they haven't had any recent launches. As a result of that, these guys have only really been going down and not had too big a pump lately. And the volume is 88,000. But I would say this is at pre-pump stage. So this is a 33 million. It's double that of paid network. I would say that Gamezone, just purely because Bluezilla they just know how to generate interest. They know how to bring out incredible they know how to bring out incredible projects that deliver insane multipliers. Being gaming specific, I think this one can do a little bit better. So I would put this in the camp of a 25 up to 50x. I don't necessarily think it's going to do a 50x from here. A 50x from here would put it at around about $2. And its all-time high is over $1, 118. I would say it could do up towards 50x, but I don't necessarily think it's going to obliterate 50x at this point. But I would say that Bluezilla, they tend to be very agile with the market, and they will probably bring out maybe another gaming platform. I don't know, games developers maybe. Next up, we have got AIPad. Now, AIPad is an AI-specific launchpad. Again, it's Bluezilla, and again, these guys just know how to bring out huge, really hype, because they know how to generate hype. They've got a marketing consortium that generates hype within the degen community, and as a result of that, I think that AIPad is going to be one of the best performers. It's AI specifically. Going to any AI project, really, this is, other than Seedify, or the only, and ChainGPT, well, this is one of the only AI launchpads. I would say that from here, because this has already done a bit of a run-up. I covered this when this was about, 5 cents. It's already done a little bit of a run-up. It's already 3x from there. So this one has got 50 to 100x, I would say. I'm going to put it in the 100x category. Let me just look at some... I've seen a few super chats. Let me just check these out, because otherwise they'll get lost in the myriad of messages that are going to be flowing in, I dare say. And by the way, there are 877 of you, which I believe that is actually quite an astronomical amount. So if I could just call on you, call on me. If I just call on you, tap that like. I'd be so delighted with you just for doing that very simple thing. Look, it's just under my face. Anyway, let me have a look. So, hey Superman, this is from Henry Guerrera. Hey Superman, do you believe in Hex, Pulse Chain, PulseX, PulsePad, even though Richard Hart being charged and PulsePad is on more exchanges? So I have already made my feelings clear on Richard Hart. My personal opinion is that there is going to be a point at which the SEC case is free from that, and then we already saw at the beginning of this. Well, we saw the beginning of the pump, the Bitcoin pump, the speculative pump. We saw late October, we saw Hex make a huge huge pump. I don't think this was it. No, it wasn't it. It was over here. So it went from like 0.0029 and it shot up to 1.1 cents. So it just did a near 4x overnight. And then since then, the Richard Hart SEC drama's kind of come back. I think that there's going to be a point at which it's just kind of that cancer is cut from bringing down the pulsicons, the hexagons, and it's going to go up. So it's just a case of patience. I don't necessarily think it's going to be a quick resolution, but I don't think also that I think that you'll be able to capitalize on that during this bull run. So thank you very much for the contribution. Johnny Peterson, so would you give a dime on MetaMaster Guild's newest X post? Let me just have a look who they are. MetaMasters Guild. 3,100,000. Games Guilds. They're relatively bullish projects, but not very bullish. I would say Games Guilds, if you're looking at the hierarchy, games developers, games developers, games developers, games, gaming launchpads. No, so it would probably be games developers, gaming launchpads, games publishers, games guilds. It goes down that hierarchy for multiplier and bullishness, I would say. MetaMasters Guild, we draw nearer, excited about an AMA. Who gives a fuck about that? AMA, so what? Meme games. I don't really get what the fuss is about. So public AMA, bring more attention to the project, yada yada yada. This sounds like crap. But thank you very much for the 50 DKK. Although I just think that was a bit of a hustle, to be fair. Roshan, do you think ETF will not be approved? I personally don't think the ETF is going to be approved, no. I think there's way more benefit to max pain than there is to max profit. Or max pleasure, as it were. And, you have to wait for pleasure. All right? Pleasure doesn't just come to you. That's just premature ejaculation, right? You just got to build up to that kind of insane finish. And so I don't think it's going to be happening straight away, no. Mevin Euros from Cass. Did you check Vault Tech AI? No, never heard of it. Let me have a quick look. And by the way, don't be too despondent if I am immediately talking with a very dismissive tone about cryptocurrencies. I just know that there's upwards of 60,000 cryptocurrencies, and you've got to be relatively decent to do well in the long term. Vault Tech. This is their opportunity. This first initial opportunity is for you to be able to see, what is this? Is it bullish? It's a really terrible front page. Modern day ecosystem requirements with our pioneer decentralized escrow service. Nah, I don't see the point of that. But thank you for the contribution. Ready, would love to look at Mega. I've already looked at this. MeMag. Yeah, look at the chart. Yeah, well, it looks like it's slightly gone bullish because of gaming narrative. I don't really give much of a toss for it. But thank you for the contribution, though. Hello, my friend. Do you stake your glimmer? I don't stake anything, to be honest. I will not stake. I want to be liquid. I want to be Monaco liquid. You know what I'm talking about. I want to be
certain rules that you have to follow, and then you're fine. Well, yeah, you have to be liquid.
That's me, liquid. Creo engine from the Wamper's Journey. So I'll have a quick look at this. Creo engine. Connecting games from worlds apart. GameFi marketplace. Easy use trade NFTs. Digital game commodities. That's a bit meh. Making Web3 fully accessible, yada, yada, yada. Opportunities, insight-driven governance, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't look that great to me. Doesn't look incredible. Connecting games from worlds apart. Looks like it's probably a games publisher. It doesn't look like a games creator. Yeah, it looks pretty shit, to be honest. Personal opinion. And it's probably had a decent run-up in the last month. Yeah, look at that. Like 13x. It's had a decent run-up. To me, it looks like shit. But if you want to speculate, go ahead. Right, okay. I'm going to carry on then. So, next up, we've got AIPad. Now, AIPad, as I've already said, is not really too up-to-date. They aren't necessarily current or active right now. But again, like with Cardstarter, I believe this is really because there has been no AI narrative. But AIPad has had 5 100Xs. 5 100Xs in the past. So these guys not only will do Cardano-based crypto projects like AstroSwap they did, which was very, very good, perform extremely well. Yeah, AstroSwap is my 5th best performing cryptocurrency in the last bull market, and that came out of AIPad. And AIPad itself was a 326x. So these guys did really well for me in the past. And in the future, when there's a Cardano narrative, maybe the pipeline will build. There'll be more projects knocking on the doors of AIPad and maybe other launchpads, and they will be wanting to bring out coins. At this point, it's just starting. Like, think about it as this may not last. This whole bullish period happening right now may not last. This could be cut short. We could be having the Fed pivot, a recession, and Armageddon. And it could reset the wheel again. Right? So, with that in mind, you don't necessarily think that this is the beginning of the process, but basically one cog starts, it unlocks another cog, then another cog, and it all gets started. It all becomes a finely tuned holistic machine over time. But at this point, it's only just the cogs are just turning, so that's why AIPad's not really done much. And with Bluezilla's latest cryptocurrencies, AIPad I don't necessarily think was really included. So this one I think can do well over when the ball gets rolling again, and AIPad being one of Bluezilla's main launch pads, they start helping with getting into projects, then this one I think will start rocketing. Like I said already, AIPad at this point has only gone up 8% from its bear market low. So these guys have not actually really increased since the beginning. Since we've had unlike Cardstarter, which has done well, AIPad has had very, very little. But what you've got to think about is that when the Bluezilla hype train begins again, is that if you're going to be wanting to absolutely maximize on your abilities to get the best allocation, the real game to play is to be on all of them. To be in AIPad, in MetaVPad, in Gamezone, in BSCPad, in AIPad, and you will collectively be able to get higher allocations. Because, for instance, with AIPad, and I'm hopeful this doesn't like try and open my wallet or anything, but with AIPad, you were able to get into, I believe, MetaVPad. But in addition to AIPad, there were other pads launching MetaVPad. And as a result, because I'm in all of them, was able to get a massive allocation in MetaVPad, which today looks insane on my wallet. My MetaVPad has been supreme. Right? So me being able to get such a high allocation was because I was in all of the pads. And that's why it's a good thing to kind of be in all of them. So I'm in all of them. And so, yeah, that's the reason why I believe AIPad is not necessarily only tied to the Cardano narrative. So as a result of that, and if we have a look, actually, at AIPad's all-time high, so it's currently 1.2 cents. Its IDO was just under half a cent. So this is only 3x from the lowest price it has ever been. And the all-time high, I want to say, is about $1. That's wrong. It's not $241. The all-time high, I believe, was about $1. Well, let me have a look. it's 326x from 0.004. That means it was around about $1.40. So that means that AIPad is currently 100x down from that. But when AIPad launched was when there was a Cardano narrative. So Cardstarter also did a big multiplier. So Cardstarter did in the last bull market, Cardstarter did a 1700x. And they did that at the same time, roughly, that AIPad launched. And AIPad did a 300x. So what was the point I was trying to make there? So the point I'm trying to make is that this does best when there is a Cardano narrative mixed with the Bluezilla hype train. But the fact that this is still at its bottom, basically, means that this quite possibly has an incredible high ahead of it. So I would say this is a not definite, but a potential 50x to 100x. I would say that AIPad is the latest, so it's probably going to have the more modern launches. But I would say that where it is right now, I would say AIPad has got the ability to still do a 50x from here. And if it was to go to its old all-time high, it would be a 100x. And it all is dependent on how well Cardano does in the next bull market. But I would say at this point, certainly people are more interested in the likes of Solana, Avalanche, Aptos, Sui, and the newer Celestia, maybe the newer blockchains. Next, we have got Star Launch. So Star Launch was a cryptocurrency I got into at IDO. I got into this, I think it was 6 cents, and this ran up to $22. This made me a mega multiplier, which actually I sold at the top while I had my first initial batch, because I think it was about, if I remember correctly, I think it was like 33% up front, and then the other 66% was launched over time. So I sold at the top my initial batch of Star Launch. It wasn't at $20, but it was around about there. In fact, I think it was over $20. So I made a huge bank with Star Launch. It was one of the best multipliers for Launchpads in the last bull market. 366x. Now, Star Launch is a Solana-based launchpad that actually has an emphasis on games. So I believe that when it comes to it, I believe that gaming is arguably the most exciting niche within Solana. And Solana is one of the most exciting chains for the next bull market. Last time it was Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain with a heavy emphasis on Solana because it was new. But I think that next time, Solana is going to be like what Ethereum was in the last market. It's going to be a more matured ecosystem. And Star Launch is one of the few Solana-based launch pads. But it's not only going to be exclusive to games, but I think they're going to just going to host the most exciting games. I'm not sure Star Launch is on here. Let me just have a look. It is here as a launch pad. Yes, no, it is, of course. So they got 175x, and the rest were not as good. But basically, this was the only one that launched in close proximity to the Bitcoin top. The Bitcoin top was 7th of November, 2021. And then there was kind of like about a month of a bull market for altcoins. And this was the only cryptocurrency that came out in that period. The rest of them came out, late December and then early 2022. And that was when the bear market was just started. So they never really got going. That's the shame in it. But next time round, I think people are pretty much in consensus that Solana is going to do very, very well. So given where Star Launch is right now, and I know that the team is active, and they have done a decent run-up lately, because I covered them at their all-time low. I covered Star Launch when they were at their all-time low, which was... It was under the IDO price of 6 cents. I think it was about 2 cents when I spoke about Star Launch, and since then it's done like a 12x. So it's already done a lot of its run up since I covered them early on. But at 18 million market cap, I would say that this one has got the potential to do a 50 to 100x. Think about it. It's Solana narrative. And it went up to $22 last time. And Solana is going to be way more current next time than it was this time. So as a result of that, I do think that Star Launch, even right now, has the potential for a 100x. Then we've got Bull Perks. This is one I've never really been truly that into. They are a decentralized, I suppose, a decentralized crowdsourcing launchpad, right? So it's intended to be there's no, there's no selection or anything. You just literally need to have what's required to be on Bull Perks, and you just get involved in launches. And that's really, all it boils down to for Bull Perks. And let me just have a look at Bull Perks. So Bull Perks have had two 100x's actually. So let me just bring up Bull Perks, see how they have done. It's not on here. Well, no, hold on. Bull Starter, I think it is. Bull Starter is the name of the launchpad. So they had Blocktopia and Cryo War. They were huge. And recently Carbon did a 41x. And they had High Street and they had Sinverse. So they've had some good ones, actually. So Blocktopia, Cryo War. Cryo War, very, very good launch. And very, very good team. And experienced VCs were getting in contact with me about Cryo War. So that shows that Bull Perks probably has a relatively decent chance in the next bull market of also hosting decent cryptocurrencies. Because High Street, again, superstar team, listed on Binance, that's done well. Sinverse, I very much like. I wouldn't say it was necessarily consistent. They've got consistently high quality cryptocurrencies. But I would say for the market cap that it is, and for the fact that very, very recently, they've done launches that have been successful. But then Bull Perks could be an outside chance, but it all depends on how much you actually need for the tiers, which I don't know. But I would say that based on where Bull Perks is as a market cap of 7 million, and that it's been up to, it's actually not been that high really, has it? 23 million. It's only a 3x from where it is. And the all-time high of Bull Perks, 70 cents. That would be a 7x from where it is. I would say that Bull Perks, I wouldn't necessarily say this has got very good visibility. I wouldn't say this has got huge respectability. But I think that these guys are, I think that they've done decent enough launches to warrant that they will probably do so in the next period. So I will put them 25. Maybe they could be a 50. I don't know enough about them or how many tokens you need to be able to say whether this would be a 50x. But I would say this has got an outside chance of being a 25x. Next we have Cardstarter. Cardstarter's really gone up because of Alex Becker. There's no doubt about it. If you watch Alex Becker's most recent videos, he's talked about Cardstarter, I think, in 2 videos. He talked about it when he was talking about he talked about it in very highly trafficked videos. And we know there's degen people around, and he said, don't buy Cardstarter. Blah, 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 blah. Right? And yet he'll probably go on Twitter and say, I told you should buy Cardstarter. Or this is what happened when I talked about Cardstarter. Went up from here. But anyway, I'm not gonna. I think he's great. I love him. Anyway, so Cardstarter's really got up because of pure speculation. He just Alex used it as an example of stories. What does well in a bull market? What the ones that are easy to contextualize within a story. Ones that the ones that make it very, very easy to just get a cryptocurrency. You get what a launchpad does, you get the token utility, and you understand why these are investable. And that's why he used it as an example. And it was purely an example, and it's done really, really well as a result. But if we have a look and go on Twitter, for instance, Cardstarter have said nothing lately. Their last retweets were 2022, and they were retweets. Like, the last thing that they really said was February 2022. Nothing since then. Now, Cardstarter did do some good launches. If I could bring it up here. They did Gero Wallet. And they did Peribius, and they did Charlie 3. These 3 basically came out one after each other. No, these two came out one after each other. I remember Charlie 3 and Gero Wallet were like the first two that came out on Cardstarter, and they were mega launches. And of course, Cardstarter itself launched on their own platform, and they were an 1800x. It hurts me to talk about Cardstarter, even to this day, because to give you some context, in around about, I believe it was about February, March 2021, somebody came into my live stream and said, "Super, have you heard of Cardstarter?" And I was like, "No, that sounds great." It was just as Launchpads were actually becoming a thing. And I was like, "No, that sounds great." And then Cardstarter contacted me and said, "Would you like to take part in our sale?" Which was, I think it was 5 cents. It was 5 cents a token, I think. And it went from 5 cents to $22. But anyway, so it did a 1800x. This would have been my best ever multiplier, but I didn't because it looked sus. I was wrong. I was wrong twice in that season. Shiba Inu and Cardstarter, and they both cost me dearly. But anyway, Cardstarter, as you know, as you can see, is not really current right now. They haven't done any marketing. And Cardstarter and Star Launch are roughly the same team. I personally think they haven't gone away, but they have become dormant as such. And I think that Cardstarter has got the potential to come back. If we have a look at Cardstarter's website, it looks exactly the same as it did on day one. Exactly the same. Nothing has changed. Which leads me to think nothing has changed. They've still got these as upcoming projects already launched. So this is like purely speculative at this point. It's a very low market cap. I don't know the precise market cap. It's extremely low market cap. I think this is single figure millions. Oh, not cards. Yeah, 3.4 million. 3.4 million it is. So I would say that Cardstarter could do anything. I mean, it's already doing a multiplier despite not being active. So something says to me this is going to do a multiplier just purely on osmosis anyway. And they'll probably do a 5x at least from here. If these guys actually become active again, then I think that these guys could do a 50x. So it's purely 5x to 50x. But this is high risk. This is the highest risk. Just purely because out of every Launchpad that's presently out, this is the only one that is not active. Look, the only one of 25. There we are. I will make some inquiries, but I don't necessarily. I think that they. Yeah, very difficult. But even at this point, given this is already kind of pumped, I'll put it in 25x. Gamestarter. Now, Gamestarter, I do remember in the last bull market, this was one of those that was actually hosting a lot of the cryptocurrencies I was talking about. And the clue is in the name, game. It's gaming launchpad. And it's a gaming launchpad at 7.6 million market cap with 30% in circulation, which is not too low in my opinion, considering this had a high of, it says 360. High of 360 is 10x down from that. But Gamestarter have recently... Oh, no, it wasn't recent, was it? These guys have gone up recently, this shill project, Project Seed. But this one was a 752x. It's a big one. And they had Bit Hotel, Lord Arena. A lot of these I was hearing about, but actually in the main, a lot of these are a bit crap as well. So not the best of gaming projects. You know, a lot of these have not made it. Little Lab's still kind of around, but a lot of these have not made it. Caduceus. So I would say, let me have a look, actually. So they've done one as recently as the 1st of December, and that was a 10x with Earn Network. So they're still active. They're still doing them. So, but there has been very, very few launches and not great ROIs. Could be because it's just a bear market. But, you know, Bluezilla, they can still do a 40 to 70x in a bear market. So that's not that great. So I would say that Gamestarter, being at 7 million, I would say this has a decent chance of doing a 10 to 20x. I'd put this in the class of 25x, actually. Engine Starter, another one of those cryptocurrencies that I was seeing launching a lot of the coins that I was talking about, a lot of the gaming cryptocurrencies I was talking about in the last bull market. So Engine Starter, these guys have done some decent, I would say, some decent multipliers, not great multipliers, decent. Most lately, not even a 10x. They're lukewarm. The best thing that they've come out with lately, I'd say, is ChainGPT. But they did PathDAO, which I spoke about in the last bull market. Bit Hotel, Soul Chicks, Plutonians, Scotty Beam, Sophiaverse, Gaia Everworld, Animal Concerts, Dex Check. I think given its low market cap, this will probably entice investors to it'll probably entice investors to get in just so that they can get a little bit of allocation in just whatever the next thing is. If you get in at pre-sale, you're on to a winner either way. It happened with what they've already got on here, which is like Lit Labs and what have you. I would say Engine Starter, you know, I wouldn't say it's that great. The multipliers, I wouldn't say really gives it a lot of hype. And it's a 34 million. So as a result of that, I'd say 10x. Now, Sidus Heroes have not even really began life as a launchpad. These guys are games developers. They've developed 3 main titles: an open world metaverse, a space shooting game, and a strategy game. A player versus player battle game, player versus player battle game, a strategy game, and an open metaverse space game. So it's basically Star Atlas with 2 other games attached to it at this point. And now they are becoming a launchpad as well. And I think this is going to give increased relevance. It's going to make this power up like a snowball. Now it's already a 60 million market cap. With only 30% of the supply out. I would say that Sidus Heroes has already done a 10x from when I spoke about it. All right, so now I would say that Sidus has got a potential 25x, 10 to 20 to 25x. I would say. I expect we'll talk about these all the time. So, but I would say 25x from here. Meta VPad. This one to me is like this is the closest to Seedify in my opinion. This is Seedify with like a pre-sale price. Seedify a pre-sale price. So if we have a look at Seedify's market cap presently, Seedify's 214 million. Market cap. We got a Meta VPad is 2.9. Now I know that this has had a decent run up in the last year, 5x. It's had a decent run up. Having said that, I would say this is a crypto. It was once upon a time $1.26. And these guys, like I said, they're like Seedify. Basically, you got games on here, you got metaverse, and you've got AI. Because when I believe anyway. Maybe not for the next one. So, Zybot, which is the next AI, which is the next Bluezilla launch, that's going to be coming out on BSCPad and AIPad. That's coming out on the 28th. But from what I've heard, there's another launch that's going to be coming out. There's a second launch coming out for Bluezilla. And it'll probably go on Meta VPad. So, I believe that Meta VPad still has a 50x chance, maybe even 100x, really. Maybe. I would say that what stands in its way is presently the circulating supply. I'm not necessarily sure that's real. Let me just have a look and see what it is on here. Because I've got all my MetaVPad, which was probably at one point all locked up. So I've received all of mine. 4 million on here. So yeah, best case scenario, 7%. But they're obviously not releasing a load of supply. So I would say MetaVPad had 50 to 100x chance. I'd probably say 50x from here. Take that off. Next, we'll look at GameFi. GameFi, though, wow, I really slept on this one. I didn't cover this in my video on Launchpads. But this one was $1. Look at that. In October, it was $1. $1.43. Now, the IDO price of GameFi was $1. So this was only 40 cents more. And since then, it's gone on to 10x. So $1.40 to $14. Now, if we have a look at GameFi, GameFi actually also had some really good performances. So, it's got its own. This one, the shill one, Sidus, Meta Wars, Meta Gods, Solace. These guys were all kind of with Animoca brands, the Solana Ventures, and there was another one that was a big investor at that point. And they all came out on GameFi. Gunstar Metaverse, Senate, Earther, some decent Rainmaker games. PlayZap. This is the only one thus far that actually hosted PlayZap. Let me just have a look and see what else PlayZap was on. Gate, Dell. Oh, actually, it was on loads. But it doesn't really matter. The fact of the matter is that these guys have had decent launches, basically. And they're still... Actually, that is quite a high market cap now. So this was obviously 16 million at the time. So I would say that GameFi, its all-time high was $351 apparently. Well, actually, no, it was. It must have been that when there was much less in supply. Yeah, so circulating supply is now roughly, I would say, 70%. So it must have been when it was much lower in supply. Now I've added more supply. It's going to be much harder for this to increase in price. I would say GameFi has a 10, 15x ahead of it. Not much more than that, maybe. GameFi is kind of a little bit like Seedify, I suppose. But without like kind of the celebrity adopters. Ava launch, I've already spoken about previously. This is a launchpad for purely Avalanche-based tokens. They did Meta Derby, they did Cerebra, and they did another one which I think I recognise. Platypus. Yeah, 172 X's. And they did Kalau, which was a NFT play on Avalanche. Imperium Empires. Some insane launches, actually. And I would say this was one of the more undervalued ones currently out. So let me have a look at the IDO price of this. 53 cents. So this is only 2.5x on top of that. Having said that, the bear market low has been 13 cents. It's already done a 10x from there. But I still think it's very, very undervalued. This is Avalanche we're talking about. And we are talking about probably something that's probably, in my opinion anyway, a bit sexier than Solana. So let's say Avalanche, based on being a 19 million market cap, I could see this having the potential. Unless Bluezilla bring out, which I have suggested, an Avalanche-based launchpad. This one has got 50x potential from where it is right now. Next up, we've got Aptos Launcher. Now, we have never had a bull market for Aptos. We've had one for Avalanche. We've had one for Solana. We've had a kind of proof of concept. We've seen some dApps come out late stage of the last bull market, and they did super well. And Aptos has not yet had any real decent launches. And this gives you the opportunity to get involved in Aptos-based cryptocurrencies. It's currently a 1.6 million cryptocurrency. Now, Aptos Launch, they have provided one... Are they on here? Let me just check. They've provided one 100x so far. And it was a game, I think. It's called Move Kitties. It's not on here. I think it was called Move Kitties. And it did... hold on, let me just go to the Aptos Launch website. Which I don't think is necessarily that... It's not very attractive. They've got Sui Launch coming, apparently. So, ended... Move Kitties. Where is the dashboard? Here we go. Move Kitties. 109x. Can you see that? No, you can't. Bear with me a second. Let me just hide all that crap. There we are. Move Kitties. 109x. There we are. So that's done one 100x. And look at the price. What the fuck, man? Considering Aptos is going to definitely have its first hype cycle this time, as is one of the most undervalued. This one, unless, like I say, a better outfit comes out for Aptos, i.e. Bluezilla brings something out, or that one of the bigger launchpads just concentrates on Aptos, I don't know. But this one has got kind of 100x potential. I would say 1000x is a bit... You never know. You never know. Aptos Launch was 7 cents at IDO, and now it is... Well, when I was collating the prices earlier, it was 1.9 cents. This has gone up since this video launched. So this one, I would say, is probably the most undervalued, I would say. It may be because it's not that straightforward. I don't know. I've never used it. But just based on the fact that this is covering a cryptocurrency not yet in a hype cycle, we kind of know Avalanche coins are going to do well. We know that Solana coins are going to do well. The jury is kind of out for Aptos, but at the same time, it's not. So I would say that this has got extreme potential. 100, 1000 depends on how well they can drum up hype. But just based on the fact that one of their launches... I mean, the rest of them were not good. 4, 3, 3, 2 X's. Not great. And this one did 100x. I think one of the reasons it did 100x is because it was March 2023. So, actually, let me just have a look. I need to check this because they are current, but I just want to check. November the 7th. November the 21st. They have not done... They're active. But they've not done much in the way of their own launches. It could be because, you know, the Aptos chain's so very, very new, and the developer network is still working on this. But presently, I don't see any other Aptos launchpads. This is it. Aptos Launch. It's got the monopoly. It's got the potential to have a concentrated money flow. So and it's the first mover in this area. So on a purely speculative point of view, I'd say this one could do a mega multiplier, but it's extremely high risk. SuiPad. SuiPad is also an extremely low cap cryptocurrency, 1.52 million. Market cap. It's presently 8 cents, which is quite high actually, because I mean, its all-time high is 55 cents, but it has very recently been 4 cents. So this is still, people are still very much speculating, and just like Aptos launch, this one's got insane potential. And I would say this one has also got 100x potential. You know, it's the first, I mean, like you saw on the Aptos launch, one of their active ones is Sui launch. And again, Bluezilla, they're the powerhouses, they're the king of Launchpads. They could bring one out that actually kicks the ass off SuiPad, but at this present time, SuiPad is the only one that's presently really relevant. So that one's got really high potential. ChainGPT is an AI-based multi-narrative cryptocurrency. So it's AI, but they can generate the ability to analyze graphs, analyze news, and give you a summary of news. They can do AI-based smart contracts. They can do AI-based generative art. They also are a ChatGPT for crypto as well. So you can ask it a question that gives you an answer. And they are a launchpad. So many multiple reasons this can do well. A multifaceted AI project. I very much like it. It's 55 million presently. I think this has still got excellent potential. I think this one has got 50x potential in the next bull market. Occam Finance. This one, again, like Cardstarter, I didn't get into Cardstarter, so I was hoping that Occam Finance would be my revenge. This would be like, oh, I didn't get into Cardstarter, but I'm going to make 100x on Occam. Didn't. So these guys were $1.75 IDO, and then they made it to about $20 highest price. And now they are, I would say, an eighth of their IDO price now, a seventh or eighth of their IDO price. 5.9 million in market cap. Now, these guys, like I said, they are a pure Cardano-based launchpad. Everything that comes out on this is intended to be a Cardano DApp, whether it's DeFi, gaming, whatever. All of it is Cardano natively. Well, they don't seem to have the performances here, but they had Cornucopius. I remember I got into some of these at the time. But most of these were total shit. DeFi, I think, was probably the best performer they had. Everything else, Card Wallet, flopped. Legacy flopped. Theos flopped. IXSwap flopped. XP Network flopped. They had really bad projects. So that is why, in spite of the market cap, this is a reason why I'm not a big fan of it. Because whereas you've got Cardstarter that had some good multipliers, they had three. How many did they have? They had 4 50x pluses. These guys had none, really. So that's the reason why it's not really. They don't have a history of doing well. So I would say it could still do. I could still see it possibly doing a decent multiplier. Okay, so it's 23 cents. The all-time best is $22. That'd be 100x from where it is right now. I would say that Occam will probably do a 25x. That would take it to... maybe that's a little bit. They are active. They just don't have the best of reputation. They just don't have the best of reputations for delivering excellent multipliers. But maybe a different story next time. But I will say about 25x, probably 50x, actually. Between the two, can't really say. Pulsepad next. So Pulsepad is concentrating on a chain that is not yet really up and running. So this made me a great multiplier on launch. This cryptocurrency launched when Pulse Chain had just completed its kind of token sale in July 2021. And then they had the Pulse Pad that came out that was to capitalize on all those developers that wanted to build for Pulse Chain, that would probably build for Buy Smart Chain at first, then port it over to Pulse Chain. So these guys are extremely low. And a big reason is obviously Pulse Chain took a long time to come out. It took, what, 2.5 years? No, 2 years to come out. And then when it did come out, and Richard Hart nearly got almost immediately slapped with an SEC, SEC charge. So those have both really hampered Pulse Pad. But having said, and again, these guys are not very active on Twitter either, for good reason probably. But given that the Pulsicans community is quite a large community, you would expect that they would do more than just reposting. Last thing they really did was May 31st was the last actual post. So they are, I would say they should do more to rile up the Pulsicans, because the Pulsicans, they love their projects. And this is a very, very low market cap. A very, very high risk. I would say this one has the potential. It could go 100x. It could do it at 5x. It really is, because Richard Hart is aware of PulsePad, but he only really wants natively created Pulse Chain apps. He only wants to promote natively created. Doesn't necessarily want to promote any other project that would benefit from Pulse Chain unless it's his own project. So that's where I would... But when I interviewed him, he said he was aware of PulsePad and the guys behind PulsePad, and he thought they were good guys, is what he said. So this could do anything from a 5x to a 100x. So I'm going to put it in 25x, just to be on the kind of, I suppose, conservative side, devil's advocate side. Coming towards the end now. V-Launch. So V-Launch was started up by Crypto and his team. What the fuck? Hold on a minute. What the hell's going on here? Yeah, so V-Launch was launched by Crypto, but it wasn't a very good performer. V-Launch had one decent launch, and I think it was their own token. Did a 90x. This was an IDO, 3 cents, and it went up to 2.29, all-time high. And now it's come right back down to 5 cents. And they're starting to come alive. So I'm part of V-Launch. I'm one of the influencers, I suppose, that is part of V-Launch. And these guys have got Serenity Shield and Wisdom Wise. Wisdom Wise is like an AI virtual assistant. And then you've got Serenity Shield, which is it's kind of like a new seed phrase protection mechanism. This is a way of being able to, I think, to have your seed phrases safely stored. So those are two projects that are coming up right now. They're coming up. So they're very active, these guys. And I can just imagine Crypto and his posse are going to be really pushing this. I don't know what other influencers are on this. Okay, here we go. So we got Carl the Moon, Ivan on Tech, Crypto Banter, BitBoy. Anybody else? Crypto Lark, Wise. I don't like Wise Advice, to be honest. Yeah, so it's a few. It's got Joe Parry's as well, and me, and I think that these guys are more than likely going to make a resurgence. They're going to have decent projects. They're going to have multi-narrative projects, from what I've heard. AI games developers, blah, 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 blah. But at this point, you'd only know that if you're in touch with them, which I am. So I would say that V-Launch, from where they are, what is it, 18 million market cap? I would say this has a decent chance of doing a 25 to 50x, I would say. I'd say 50x. I'll put that in. Now, in the first hype cycle, it tends to do its best, but we're going to have a 2-year. This came out of the latter end of the last bull market. Came out in about November 2021, right? Just as the bull market was ending. Next time, it's going to have the full bull market ahead of it. It's going to have everyone crypto and all these other YouTubers talking about it. So as a result of that, I imagine actually 50x is doable. 100x is potential, to be honest. But I'm going to say from where it is right now, I'm going to say old all-time high, about 50x. Last one is AIPad. AIPad. So just like Aptos, just like SWI, very, very low cap cryptocurrency. Extremely low cap cryptocurrency. And this is meant to be an Arbitrum Launchpad cryptocurrency. Now, from what I can see, there is not much in the way of Arbitrum Launchpads. If you want to create a kind of GMX or a Magic, which are Arbitrum-based cryptocurrencies, how do you launch it? How do you launch it where you get some form of crowdsourcing and some form of visibility and people that are going to hype it up? There's really not much in the way of Arbitrum-based launchpads at this point. This is the only launchpad, so it's got the complete monopoly, I believe, of this. So it went up to 0.002, so that's 10x from where it is right now. It's all-time high, which is 7 months ago, around about the time Arbitrum launched. Let's just have a look and see how current they are, though, because I haven't looked into this one. December the 7th. Right, okay. Exciting news. Major update to AIPad IDO tier system. Can't wait to share it with you. So that's obviously going to be coming up. The 71 followers, I think they're fake. Personally. I think they're fake. No one I know is following. That does not sound like somebody I know would surely be following this. So, but I think this is I think this is extremely high risk, high reward. Extremely high risk, high reward. This has the potential to do 100x again. So Aptos, SWI, and Arbitrum are like the new versions of these high performance blockchains. They're the new wave. They're the new Solana, Avalanche, Terra Luna. I have to wait and see which one becomes Terra Luna. The rest of them I'm not going to rate yet. Sphere, none of these I'm going to rate at this point, because this was AlgoPad, but it's not really gone anywhere. This is Polypad, but it's not really done anything. This is Sphere, which was previously Soul Starter, but they became Sphere. Don't know why. And then Moonstarter. So, but this is the list, and as you can see, there are some that could have gone into the 1000x category, and they probably could. I would say these could definitely be 1000x's. They could definitely be. So, yeah, there we are. I want to know what you think. What is your favourite of the ones that I've spoken about? Let me just put somebody on mute, because I keep on putting DYDX for some reason. So I'm just putting timeout. Right, I saw there were about 1 billion super chats while I was live, so let me just firstly catch up with those. So use a cold wallet through MetaMask? No. To participate in IDOs? No. Suppoman, Gary Token, review on Gary Token, a live streaming project. Gary. 2 million in volume. Nice. On Solana. Let's have a quickie then. And a look. Chingari, largest on-chain social graph. Short video, social audio, social commerce, social ed tech. Have a look and see if who these guys have got as backers. Solana Ventures, LD Capital, Shimmer, NGC, Kraken. When did these guys even come out? Borderless, they're okay. AU21, Don't recognize anybody else. When did this come out? Beginning of 2022. It came out right at the beginning of the bear market. I would say it's a pretty shit name. This Chingari. Not a great name. And I would say they need to make better efforts on this, because this is a 13 million market cap. They should make it look a lot more interactive, like have some video on the actual platform. Live streaming, audio chat, text chat. I quite like these social medias, even though there's not really much of a narrative right now. But the fact it's on Solana is pretty cool, because as is Taki. Taki's also on Solana as well. This is 5 million, but it's only like tweets, whereas this is more video, so that's quite interesting. And they've got decent investors as well, but then so does Taki. So thank you very much for that contribution. Louis Vuitton, thank you for the $2. I appreciate that. What about Polka City? Polka City's old, man. And it was not that good to start with, in my opinion, anyway. And that's kind of reflected in its current metrics. 9,000 hodlers, really? Yeah. Oh, look at that. That is a car crash of a fucking website. That is just like... It's like fucking ambulance chaser advertising. It's like, earn profits! But look, what the fuck, man? You have to shout. I mean, I know I shout, but... That's a joke. What a crap token, honestly. But thank you for the $4.99. What's your opinion of Gaia? It's not done that great, has it? Andrew Appleby, is this the bull run, or will we still get a crash? I've made my thoughts quite clear on it, if I'm honest with you, but you know, you'll never know. AI gaming metaverse, Polka City, yeah, okay, of course it is. Right, okay, let's just take a few questions then. Portal. Is Portal out yet? No, it's not out yet. What the fuck is this? Well, that's not the one either. You're meaning the gaming publisher Portal, because I've seen them. And yeah, they look okay. I don't think they're out yet, though, are they? Super, can you check more out? I talked about it in the last video. I think Sharp Boss, any thoughts on Moonbeam? Bought some yesterday. Yeah, I would just say don't be too despondent. You know, layer ones aren't really getting a lot of pumping at the moment. And I would say that Moonbeam has done what? It's done a 2x, 16 cents to 33 cents, over a 2x. And, you know, if we have a look at how, I mean, this isn't completely up to date, but if we have a look and see, you know, a lot of cryptos had not 2x. Like Internet Computer hasn't even 2x'd. Algorand's nowhere near 2x'd. A lot of cryptos haven't 2x. Don't be too despondent at this stage. They all get there. There's a relative flow to cryptocurrency. Everything gets their time. It doesn't come at the same time. You just have to wait until it comes. That's it. That's all I will say. Sometimes it doesn't come. Like, for instance, what's the other one? DeFi. Not DeFi. DeSo. That never came. Super, thoughts on Swissborg? Nothing, don't care for it. PMPY. Let me have a look. Prometheum Prodigy. What the fuck is that? AI integrated layer 2 blockchain built on top of the Ethereum. What the fuck? This is like utter shit. This is like a complete shit coin. Yeah, total shitcoin. No VCs, nothing. Crap. Just a total money grab, I would say, if anything. Thoughts on Decimated? I don't mind it. Nicholas Addy, thank you very much for $7.99. $7.99. Any target multiplier for Space Falcon? I think I've given it, haven't I? Have I not done a space? Did I not add Space Falcon? I probably haven't added it to the what do you call it? The multiplier tier list, which is what I love doing. I'm going to be making a move very, very shortly. How long have I been online? 1 hour 45. Ethereum Classic, the future. Yeah, okay. People are hilarious. Orca on Solana. Orca's been around ages. It's not exact. It's nothing new. Orca's been around since 2021. Oh, how pathetic! Can't even access the fucking website. But it's a DEX, right? Yeah, it's a DEX like Radium and what's the other one? Solanium or whatever it's called. Yeah, it's fine. Nothing incredible. I'm really after any incredible stuff, to be fair. That guy on the pick is Salman Khan, big actor. What? Oh, okay, cool. On that, I'm imagining you mean on the social networking thing. I'm in CeFi, Engine Starter, Pay Network, Meta VPad, Polypad, and a few more all scooped up around July lows. Happy now. Nice. Good thinking. Yeah, sometimes you've got to take a real risk with these things. You never know how the timing's going to play out. Any other questions? What if ETF cancels, BTC sinks, alts will bleed? Maybe we should wait the buying of alts. Yeah, you got to take you got to make your own choices ultimately. I would say, I would say a lot of the coins right now they're too high up. I'm just not gonna bother. I'll just wait. I'm not gonna. I would rather, buy into new pre-sales than get involved in anything that's currently out. I just don't see the point. I did my DCAing, happy with my DCAing. Could have put more, but I'm happy with it, to be fair. What is Superman's favourite non-crypto hobby? Shopping, I would say. Do you think AI... But thank you very much for the $5. Oh, thoughts on Jasmine? Jasmine's shit. Jasmine's a shit coin, man. It's a pile of fucking crap. It's the biggest scammy crap I've ever seen. I have no idea why this is on Binance. They must have paid Binance a lot of money. Because this is shit. Fucking worst cryptocurrency ever at this price level. And ICP seems to be quite good technologically, but not very good commercially. So. Okay, I'm going to make a move, people, because I am kind of hoping for decent questions, but there just tends to be people saying froze, Chinook. I'm not really going to answer dumb questions. AIPad. I've already spoken about AIPad. What do I think about froze meme? I got to be honest, I don't know what froze is. At least with some crypto, look, it's got a ton of different alternatives. Is this the right one? I don't even know. That's the thing about meme coins. There's too many people. What? There's not even a fucking website. Let's go to that one as well. What's up, Super? Do you think there's still a chance the whole market drops? Yeah, I do. Yes, I have said this like ad nauseum, but I think so. Yeah, I don't know. Near future, I don't know necessarily. I think that Q1 2024, but then you just never know, right? The things will happen when it happens. That's all I've got to say. Like Q1 seems like the most opportune time pre-halving to make something happen, but you just have to wait and see. I'm sticking with my view. But thank you very much for the $10. I appreciate that, at least. So what is a true bit? True bit shit. It should be called true shit rather than true bit. When dip, when correction. Just gotta wait for it. You just gotta be patient. Like, something that I found really, really weird, right, is just how out of the blue it was. There was no blow off bottom, nothing. It just kind of, you know, this period here, here, just before the pump, right, just here, there's nothing. Nothing happened. There was nothing. There's no blow off bottom, no event, nothing. Considering we're in one of the weakest macro environments ever, I don't care what any twat says in crypto, right? We're in one of the worst potential shitstorms for the macro ever seen. A Fed pivot will lead to a recession. Everybody's fearing a recession. The prices are going to reflect this soon. The lack of demand for housing and for, you know, look, Black Friday was not that special because most things are on sale anyway. Like, the concept of discounts, people don't care anymore because every company is flogging their crap anyway because no one's buying. And that's because of inflation. That's because people don't have the money. And a recession is only going to exacerbate that problem. So nothing even happened around. There's no blow off, no event. And that to me makes me very, very sus. It just happened. It's just nothing happened. You know what I mean? Nothing that signified. But then again, at the same time, nothing really happened to signify the top of Bitcoin either. It just kind of went to 69 and then that was it. It did a 69 and then went down instead of the other way around. What about Beam? This will probably be the last question unless I get another super chat. This Beam, you know, this will probably do 10x. That's it. Not that great in terms of risk to reward. Right, okay. I'm just going to put some people in timeout because... So, and which exchange are these alts? It really is not difficult to find out, okay? So all you do, let's say for Aptos launch, is you just go to markets and that will tell you where you can buy it. So PancakeSwap, Mexi, any crypto, coinmarketcap.com, markets. More, I talked about more in the last video. No need to talk about it again. If you could pick one pad, what would you go with? Probably AIPad, if I'm honest with you. But probably these five would be my speculative bets. But I would also say they're 100x potentials because they literally could also be here. Not AIPad necessarily, and not Star Launch, but these three. Because I know the people behind these. Bluezilla are behind these, and the guys behind Cardstarter are behind Star Launch. But these guys, I don't know who they are. I don't know where they've come from. And I don't know if they have the ability or the expertise, like the Bluezilla guys do, to be able to deliver a top-performing launchpad consistently and have consistent launches and have consistent hype. I just don't know if they can do that. And that's why they're in this. They could literally be either here. These three could either be either here or here. It's completely speculative. Right, okay, people, I think that is it. So if you want to just now say goodbyes, etc., and I can say goodbye to you guys, and then hopefully do a live stream sometime soon. I'm going to be in Monaco later this week, so I probably won't... I don't know, I might do a stream there, who knows. So Mivek, good to see you. Moj Tapper... Is it too late to get into Pok? Yeah. I mean, it depends on what you define as late. But it's pretty late. Kaz10, N. Cassie, Marcin, Baz, Crypto Coin Review, Ralph Crypto, Pipley Otter, Marty, Jack, Maximus, Muzz, Trips, Pelagic, Sound Money, Nightmare, Rico Samuels, Ferris Bear, Trips, Damoy Games, Balk, Bert, H-Bag, Your Cow, Intense Gamer, Ruben, SC, Omer, Hourglass, Savage Cash, Welcome to another episode of Savage Cash. Here with me, Suppoman, your superhero of cryptocurrency. The old intros. Peter, Isaac, Jonathan, Dave D. Yo, Monaco got the best host. You're funny. Right, okay, people. Thank you all for joining. I appreciated your attendance. If you could be so kind to do a like on the way out, I would be extremely appreciative. Thank you all for turning up. Thank you all for being on my latest streams. And yeah, just generally being around, you know. And if you want to be up to date on what are my thoughts on the market, I very recently put my thoughts on the market here in my DCA Telegram group, which is contained within the cryptocurrency investment course for $10. You literally go to... Oh, that's the wrong one. You literally go to the final section where it says join my learning community, buy announcements Telegram group. You'll see my DCAs if I do any DCA buying and my thoughts on the market. But thank you all for being here, people. I really appreciate you. You're amazing. Team Suppo to the end. And I'll see you next time. It is lights out.